The lost city of Atlantis, the greatest mystery that refuses to die. Some stories refuse to disappear. They survive wars, they survive empires, they survive thousands of years. Passed from one generation to another, they continue to ignite curiosity long after their creators are gone. Among all the legends ever told, perhaps none has captivated the human imagination more than Atlantis. A magnificent island, a civilization of incredible wealth, a people said to possess advanced knowledge, extraordinary engineering, and immense military power. Then, according to the ancient story, it vanished. Swallowed by the sea in a single day and night, no survivors, no empire, only a mystery. But was Atlantis ever real? Or was it simply the greatest story ever written? For more than 2,000 years, philosophers, historians, explorers, archaeologists, and treasure hunters have searched for the answer. Some believe Atlantis lies beneath the Mediterranean Sea. Others search the Atlantic Ocean. Some claim it rests beneath the ice of Antarctica. Others insist it was destroyed by a volcanic eruption. Despite centuries of searching, no one has found definitive proof. Yet the legend refuses to die. Because Atlantis is more than a lost city, it represents one of humanity's oldest dreams, the dream that somewhere beneath the oceans, an entire forgotten world is still waiting to be discovered. Our story begins not underwater, but in ancient Greece. Around 360 BC, the philosopher Plato wrote two famous dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Within these works appears the earliest known description of Atlantis. According to Plato, Atlantis was a vast island located beyond the Pillars of Heracles, the ancient name often associated with the Strait of Gibraltar. Beyond that gateway, he wrote, stretched an enormous island, larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined. At its center stood a magnificent capital unlike anything the ancient world had ever imagined. Concentric rings of land and water surrounded the city. Bridges connected one ring to another. Wide canals allowed ships to sail directly into the heart of the kingdom. Temples covered in precious metals reflected sunlight across the sea. Towering walls protected magnificent palaces. The island was rich with fertile farmland, forests, wildlife, fresh water, and valuable minerals. Everything seemed abundant. Everything seemed perfect. The people of Atlantis were described as powerful sailors and brilliant engineers. Their fleets crossed great distances. Their armies conquered neighboring lands. Their wealth became legendary. At the center of the capital stood a magnificent temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. Golden statues filled its halls. Massive columns supported its roof. The kingdom itself was ruled by descendants of Poseidon, combining divine heritage with human ambition. To later generations, Atlantis sounded almost too perfect, a paradise built by extraordinary people. But perfection rarely lasts forever. According to Plato, prosperity slowly transformed into pride. Power became greed. Wisdom gave way to arrogance. The Atlanteans sought to dominate the known world. As their ambition grew, their moral character declined. The gods watched. And finally, judgment came. Plato describes an unimaginable catastrophe: violent earthquakes, massive floods, the sea rising with unstoppable force. Within a single day and night of terrible destruction, Atlantis disappeared beneath the ocean. Its mighty cities vanished forever. The sea closed above them, and the island became impossible to reach. It is one of history's most unforgettable endings. An entire civilization erased almost instantly. But here is where the mystery truly begins. Everything we know about Atlantis comes from one source: Plato. No Egyptian inscription clearly names Atlantis. No Babylonian records describe it. No surviving Greek writer before Plato mentions such a civilization. This raises an important question. Was Plato recording history, or creating a philosophical story? Many historians believe Atlantis served as a moral lesson. In Plato's writings, Athens represented wisdom, moderation, and justice. Atlantis represented wealth without restraint, power without humility. A civilization destroyed not simply by nature, but by its own corruption. If that interpretation is correct, Atlantis was never intended to be found. It was a warning, a fictional civilization created to teach real lessons. Yet, something about the story feels strangely different. Plato includes remarkable details. He describes geography, architecture, government, military organization, agriculture, water systems, religious traditions, even measurements of buildings and canals. The level of detail makes many readers wonder whether the philosopher based his account on older traditions, perhaps an ancient memory, perhaps an older legend passed down through generations. Or perhaps a real disaster transformed into myth over centuries of storytelling. That possibility has fascinated researchers for generations. History is filled with events that gradually became legends. Real kings became mythical heroes. Real battles became epic poems. Real floods became stories of divine punishment. Could Atlantis have followed the same path? Could a genuine catastrophe have inspired one of history's greatest legends? As scientists began studying the ancient Mediterranean, they discovered that entire coastal cities had indeed disappeared beneath the sea. Earthquakes reshaped shorelines, tsunamis erased settlements, volcanic eruptions buried thriving civilizations beneath ash. Suddenly, the destruction of an advanced society no longer seemed impossible. The question changed. Instead of asking whether entire civilizations could vanish, researchers began asking whether one particular civilization matched Plato's description. One candidate would eventually attract more attention than any other: an island in the Aegean Sea, a place once home to one of the most sophisticated cultures of the Bronze Age, a civilization that flourished through trade, architecture, engineering, and maritime power. Then, one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history changed everything. Its name is Santorini. And for many researchers, this beautiful island may hold the closest real-world inspiration for the legend of Atlantis. Could Plato have preserved a distant memory of that ancient catastrophe? Or is the resemblance merely coincidence? The evidence is both fascinating and deeply controversial. Because the search for Atlantis is no longer only about finding a lost city. It is about understanding how history becomes legend, how memory survives across centuries, and whether myths sometimes preserve fragments of real events long after civilizations themselves have disappeared. If Atlantis truly existed, its greatest secret may not be hidden beneath the ocean. It may be hidden within history itself. The island of Santorini is one of the most beautiful places in the Mediterranean. White villages cling to the cliffs. Blue dome churches overlook a brilliant sea. Tourists arrive every day to admire breathtaking sunsets. Few realize they are standing on the edge of one of the greatest natural disasters in human history. More than 3,500 years ago, Santorini was known as Thera. At that time, it was home to a thriving civilization connected to the powerful Minoan culture of Crete. The Minoans were remarkable. Long before classical Greece, they built multi-story palaces. They created colorful frescoes that still amaze archaeologists today. Their ships crossed the Mediterranean, connecting distant ports through trade. They mastered engineering, plumbing, and architecture that seemed centuries ahead of their time. To many historians, they represented one of Europe's earliest advanced civilizations. Then, disaster struck. Deep beneath the island, pressure had been building for centuries. Magma slowly forced its way upward through the Earth's crust. Finally, the volcano erupted with unimaginable violence. The explosion was one of the largest volcanic eruptions of the Holocene epoch. Ash blasted high into the atmosphere. Pyroclastic flows raced across the island. Entire settlements were buried beneath volcanic debris. Then came another catastrophe. The eruption generated enormous tsunamis that swept across the eastern Mediterranean. Massive waves crashed into nearby coastlines. Ports disappeared. Ships were destroyed. Communities along the shore were devastated. For a civilization that depended on the sea, the consequences were enormous. Today, archaeologists continue excavating the ancient city of Akrotiri on Santorini. Beneath layers of volcanic ash, they have uncovered remarkably preserved streets, houses, workshops, pottery, and beautiful wall paintings. The city appears sophisticated. Its buildings rose multiple stories. Some homes even contained advanced drainage systems. It was clearly a prosperous community. Yet one detail continues to puzzle researchers. Very few human remains have been discovered within the buried city. This suggests that many residents may have escaped before the final eruption, perhaps after experiencing earthquakes that warned them of the coming disaster. If so, survivors may have carried stories of the catastrophe across the Mediterranean. Stories grow with every generation. Facts blend with imagination. A destroyed island becomes a legendary kingdom. A volcanic eruption becomes divine punishment. Centuries later, memories become myths. Could this be how the legend of Atlantis was born? Many scholars believe the Santorini eruption may have inspired at least part of Plato's story. Not because Santorini perfectly matches every detail, it doesn't. The geography differs, the dates do not fully align, and Plato's description contains many elements that appear symbolic rather than historical. But the psychological impact of such a disaster could easily have echoed through oral traditions for centuries. A prosperous island civilization, destroyed by nature, lost beneath the sea. The similarities are difficult to ignore. Still, Santorini is only one theory. Others believe Atlantis may have existed elsewhere. Some researchers point towards southern Spain, near the marshlands surrounding Doñana National Park. Satellite imagery and archaeological investigations have inspired speculation that ancient settlements once occupied the region. Others search the Azores, a chain of volcanic islands rising from the Atlantic Ocean. Some suggest Atlantis lies beneath the waters of the Caribbean. Others imagine it beneath Antarctica, hidden under kilometers of ice. A few even propose locations far beyond the Mediterranean altogether. Each theory begins with intriguing clues. Each eventually encounters the same problem. There is no definitive evidence, no inscription that says, "This is Atlantis," no unmistakable royal palace matching Plato's account, no artifacts connecting a discovered city directly to the legendary civilization. And perhaps that is exactly why Atlantis continues to fascinate us, because it exists in the space between certainty and possibility. Science teaches us to follow evidence. Legends invite us to explore imagination. Atlantis sits at the intersection of both. Modern archaeology has transformed our understanding of the ancient world. Entire cities once believed to be myths have been found. The ancient city of Troy, long dismissed by many as legendary, was eventually identified through archaeological excavation. Lost temples have emerged from jungles. Ancient ports have been discovered beneath the sea. Hidden civilizations continue to surprise researchers almost every year. History repeatedly reminds us that the past still holds many secrets. Yet archaeology also teaches patience. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. A mysterious structure beneath the ocean is not automatically Atlantis. A submerged city is not proof of Plato's story. Every discovery must be examined carefully, measured, tested, questioned. That careful approach is what separates science from speculation. Perhaps the greatest lesson of Atlantis is not whether it existed. Perhaps the lesson is why the story has survived for more than 2,000 years. Every civilization fears being forgotten. Every generation wonders whether greatness can disappear. Atlantis embodies those fears. It reminds us that wealth cannot guarantee survival. Power cannot stop nature. Even the greatest civilizations can vanish. History offers many examples. The Maya, the Minoans, the Khmer Empire, the ancient cities of Mesopotamia. Some collapsed through war, others through climate change, others through economic decline. Some disappeared so completely that forests and deserts swallowed them for centuries. Atlantis became the ultimate symbol of that fragile reality. Whether real or fictional, its message remains timeless. No civilization lasts forever. No empire is immune to change. And the sea has an extraordinary ability to hide the past. Even today, only a small fraction of the world's ocean floor has been explored in detail. Thousands of shipwrecks remain undiscovered. Ancient coastlines lie beneath rising seas. Entire chapters of human history may still rest underwater, waiting to be revealed. Perhaps one day, new technology will uncover something extraordinary, a forgotten harbor, a buried palace, an ancient civilization unlike anything we have seen before. If that day comes, history books may need to be rewritten once again. Or perhaps Atlantis will remain exactly where it has always lived, not beneath the ocean, but within the human imagination. Because the greatest legends are not remembered simply because people believe them. They are remembered because they ask questions that never grow old. What have we lost? What still lies hidden beneath the sea? How much of history remains undiscovered? And could the stories we call myths contain fragments of forgotten truth? After more than 2,000 years, Atlantis still refuses to disappear. It continues to inspire explorers, scientists, writers, filmmakers, dreamers. Perhaps that is its greatest achievement. Not surviving beneath the waves, but surviving within us. The search for Atlantis has never really been about finding one lost city. It has always been about something much larger. Our endless desire to understand the past, to uncover forgotten worlds, and to believe that somewhere beyond the horizon, history still has one more incredible secret waiting to be found.